So let's take a look at this question here. We have the region under the graph y equals x squared over the interval 0 to 3 is rotated about the x-axis, and we're being asked to find the volume of this solid. Well, we already know the structure of this equation. It's going to be our disk method, which is the integral from a to b of f of x squared times pi times dx, which comes from the cylinder equation again. We get our pi r squared h, where r is f of x and h is this dx. So it might help if we draw a picture. I'm always going to recommend that we draw a picture whenever you're trying to build this intuition. And I'm going to do so with a dotted line. And I'm doing the dotted line because we're about to restrict the domain from 0 to 3. So this way it kind of shows me the parabola that my solid is following, but I'm making sure I'm only paying attention to that little interval between 0 and 3. Well, now we have the information we need to start to build and fill into our equation. So we're going to go the integral from 0 to 3, that first x value to that last x value on our region, of pi times x squared squared dx. And notice that I've chosen to keep the brackets here. I'm choosing to keep the brackets because I want to keep as much notation consistent line to line so I don't accidentally make a mistake. One of the most common mistakes here is that some people forget that there's a squared on the outside of the function too. So this way we're going to know that it's x to the fourth dx and not just simply that x squared. Make sure that you keep track of that squared part. Well, from here we can just simply pull constants out in front of integrals because that's really just factoring. If integrals are adding, then constants multiplied in can be factored out. So we've got pi times the antiderivative by the fundamental theorem of calculus, and then we're able to just simply plug in for those bounds. It's a pretty simple integral. We're going to let the calculator do some of the heavy lifting for us here, but I want to have the calculator do as little as possible so that we don't accidentally fall into the trap of using decimals when we want to have exact answers. So we're going to do the 3 to the 5th, and that's going to get us our 243. The 0 to the 5th is obviously going to be a pretty easy one to solve. We don't need the calculator for that. But then we're going to get our answer, 243 times pi divided by 5. And that's a number. That's a number that we could approximate with a decimal, but we're going to keep it exact because that's the exact volume we were asked to find. All right, hope you enjoyed.